So today I want to do a book review of Batman: A Death in the Family. Now, when I first got into Batman, I think I've talked about it a little before. It was after the Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson Batman movie. I saw that movie with my uncle, completely blown away. Went to Walden Books at the mall immediately after with my pocket money and bought my first Batman single issue comic book. I remember I was in the same grade in elementary school that year, and a friend of mine, Shane, had this trade paperback. And I remember him reading it at recess, or, maybe while we were supposed to be learning math. But I was so intrigued by the cover and the title. And this was taking place, if you know what's going on in 1989 versus 1988, this had already taken place story-wise, chronologically. But I was so intrigued. Who was Jason Todd? And I was very interested in what had happened, because in the books I was reading at the time, the books I was picking up off the spinner racks and stuff, Batman was solo. He did not have a Robin at that time. So I wanted to know. Well, I knew of Batman and Robin, obviously, but Batman was solo in the movies. Batman was a solo artist in the comic books. And here he is holding Robin, who is deceased. So I was very interested. This is a time when, you could get a trade paperback for $5.95. Which was still a great deal of money to me in the 5th grade. But I did come up with $5.95. I got to a comic shop or a bookstore, and I got my very own issue soon after that, or my very own trade paperback. This is still the exact one. I've kept it in pretty good condition after all this time. I love how it shows the 4 issues, which I've never been able to obtain the single issues of this. They've always been just too much money. So I'd like to rectify that one day, but I do always have this just in case. So when I do want to go back to read it, and I probably go back to read it every couple of years. I think it's a great story. It has the amazing Jim Aparo. He's one of my favorite Batman artists, always will be. So I'm just kind of going to go through here and talk about it a little bit. Like I said, my friend had it. I had to get to the bottom of what's going on in this story, how this came to happen to this Robin, which I soon found out was not Dick Grayson, was not the Robin from the TV shows they were showing on TV at the time, but it was Jason Todd. And I would soon start getting earlier issues of how Jason Todd came to be in Batman's life. Now this is after something has happened to that drug dealer. There was the drug dealer rapist, basically, where Jason may or may not have pushed him off a balcony, and that kind of remains to be seen. If that happened or not. I guess it's always up to speculation. Batman will never know. Then his father came after Batman, Commissioner Gordon, wanted revenge, and then this is what follows. Robin soon finds out. Robin's angry. Robin's getting worse. The Joker escapes, and then very soon, Robin comes across some information from this sweet old lady that his mother is not the woman he thought she was, and that was, due to this birth certificate. And she's not actually dead. She's actually one of 3 women in the Middle East. And he wants to find out. He wants to find her. Coincidentally, as comic books, go, he is going to be in the same place that the Joker is. This I mean, coincidences happen in comic books, coincidences happen in movies, but Batman has to go there as well. But Batman is tracking down the Joker. Robin thinks he's there to help him, which kind of ticks him off a little bit more, because he's not there to help in his crusade to find his mother, that he's actually there to stop the Joker. But in his plan to sell missiles and whatnot, they work together to track down the Joker. It doesn't work out, doesn't go according to plan, and then they continue on. The Joker winds up, kind of spoiler alert, if you haven't read this you might want to stop, but the Joker winds up meeting up with Jason's actual mother, Sheila Haywood. And I love back in the day when the Joker would paint up his face, kind of like he did in the 89 movie. So this is kind of where they got that idea. I'm not sure if he was doing this prior to that, but definitely that, like his scarring and his smile, like you weren't catching on to that. But hey, this is the Joker, you're not fooling anybody. But I love how he would do that. And then they did that with Jack Nicholson's Joker. He would paint up over his white paint. But, or, because obviously the Joker has bleached skin, despite the other changes over time, but to the storyline. They've got Lady Shiva in this, which she comes back again from time to time. She's really one of the only fighters who can best Batman, or at least come close. But they find out that Robin finds out she's not his mother either. Again, Sheila Haywood is his mother, but she's tied up in some criminal activities, and she winds up turning Robin over to the Joker, which the Joker, of course, turns on both of them and almost beats Robin to death in this. I'm sure you've seen this in other media, and leaves them both to die in a warehouse with an explosive. Now, I'm sure you've heard the tale, but if you haven't, they had this bomb. Robin saved her. It looked like they were going to get away, but he had locked the door. Kaboom. And then there was this. This is how this issue was left. And there was a 900 number that you could call at the time. You could call one 900 number to save Robin. You could call the other 900 number to kill him. Now, obviously this is before I was into Batman, so I didn't call a 900 number. But I'm still not sure what I would have done. But, in hindsight, it doesn't really matter, because they've brought even though it had a ripple effect over time, and there's so many fantastic stories based on what this did to Batman, Batman's emotional state, what it did to all of the characters, what it did to his relationship with the Joker and other people in his circle, all of these fantastic storylines and books. They still brought Jason back as the Red Hood. People love the Red Hood, but to me, I think it was a trick. And I like in Hush where it was left up to you to decide, was that Jason or was it not? But when they did Under the Red Hood, and you found, when they did the Red Hood storyline after Hush, and you found out, yes, it was Jason. And even though it's a fantastic story, it just was not worth bringing Jason back, because this destroyed Batman as a person, and he had to work through it. And these panels and him finding him lifeless, and the backtracking they had to do to say that Jason's actually was brought back to life by the League of Assassins and things like this. It just doesn't sit well when you read it back in the day and you kept reading Batman all these years. If you just got into it and you're like, okay, I've got 15 or 16 trades and I'm fine with it, that's one thing. But if you read Batman for 20 plus years, it does not sit with you for them to bring Robin back or Jason Todd back like that in any form. I like how they bring Superman in because he's the one who's going to have to get Batman under control and stop him from, killing the Joker, because the Joker has become an Iranian ambassador somehow at this point. I love this character, how they colored him. You can even hear this guy's voice. I can't remember this actor's name, but they totally based this guy's look on an actual actor at the time. If you know that actor in the 80s, you're like, oh yeah, it's totally him. I love how he just has this costume sitting on the bed. It's just like he's laid out his clothes for his... And then he's deciding what to do, and then you see Jim Aparo always had touches like that. It's fantastic. But it's kind of like the showdown. The Joker acts like, puts on the show. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make some, I'm actually an ambassador. I'm really this. But no, of course, he's going to poison everybody. Superman takes all the poison in. But Joker and Batman have a final showdown, only for it to end in a stalemate because the Joker is supposedly dead at the bottom of the river, but of course it's unresolved. This, again, is a fantastic book, a fantastic storyline of 4 issues, but the thing is, if you're starting at year 1 and you're reading these great books, these Jim Aparo books, Alan Grant, Norm Brayfogle, Jim Starlin, the list goes on, Marv Wolfman, Max Allan Collins, all the stuff, Denny O'Neil, all the stuff these guys are involved in that are writing this fantastic Batman material from 1986 to up until basically the end of Nightfall. Most of it is fantastic, and you are following, almost immediately, you're following Jason Todd coming along, the loss of Jason Todd, and Batman's emotional state from that loss, and then how he takes on a new ward, and how he tries so hard not to make the same mistakes, but how he is willing to love again, to take on a new son, basically, and to train him to fight evil the only way he knows how. It's the only way he knows how to have a family, is to bring them into his crusade. So my book review of A Death in the Family is 5 stars always. And I don't know if it's nostalgia or what, but I don't think you can go wrong with this being one of your first pickups of Batman. So, Batman: A Death in the Family, always fantastic.